Hey everybody, Norm over here, and I've got my buddy Paul Rivera, and we've got Michael over here, Michael Lemo, and what we got over here is a one-of-a-kind Rivera amp. This is the Hallelujah package. This is about as much stuff, good stuff, as you can get into one amp. And courtesy of Paul Rivera and my buddy Ken Bloom in Hawaii, this amp is going to be auctioned off at our show October 2nd. Featuring Joe Bonamassa, Tom Morello, and it's got Richie Sambora. We got my buddy Jason Sine with JMO MD, really cool band. Judd Abrams family. We got some really cool stuff happening. Tim Allen is going to be the host, and we've got more surprises coming. So, Paul, tell us about this amp. This amp is way over the top. It's like ridiculous.
Okay, so what we built here is a one-of-a-kind combo. It's a 50-watt combo that has 3 channels. It is MIDI controlled. It comes with a complete MIDI controller. It has some exceptional voicing on it that was developed over the years with bands like Peter Gabriel, with David Rhodes, and Nick Thompson of Slipknot, and so on. So this has had huge, long development period in terms of the voicing. We've never
everything
built
from metal to R&B to blues to almost acoustic to everything. You know.
Well, as you will hear, and it has features on the back panel that are as interesting as the front panel. For example, it has an effects loop that not only has level controls, but it has a blend control. So you can have 100% effect, 50%, 30% effect, which is really great, and it's available to be switched from this foot controller. It also has high and low power switches, so you can run this at 50 watts or 25 watts, and it has a vintage modern switch, which is like triode pentode, so with the 4 different combinations you can take it down to 12 watts, which is really handy if you're playing in a small club or you're playing at home or something like that without blowing it out. It comes with 2 12-inch Celestion speakers. They're wired in series for 16 ohms, so you can use a 16 ohm cabinet like a typical 4x12 Marshall in conjunction with it. Has an impedance selector switch. It also has a subwoofer output so that you can use a powered subwoofer with it if you wanted to get a bunch of big bottom end, and it has a control on the front panel for it as well. Wow. So the 3 channels are fully voiced, and they're independent. The first 2 channels are independent, and the 3rd channel has its own master, its own reverb control, and so on. So there's actually 2 reverbs in here, and of course, due to copyright, we couldn't call it a twin reverb. And it has what's called a focus control and a presence control, and the focus control allows you to bring up the bottom end. I'm sure you've played in clubs that are deader than a doornail. You hit a note and it just goes
voice into the room.
Yeah, exactly. So it allows you to adjust that. So, for instance, it has pull bright switches and pull scoop switches on this first channel, and so it allows you to change the equalization on it. Besides, you can modify with the controls here. It has a notch control in the middle, and a bright switch and a contour switch. So there's 3 switches here that allow you to change the voicing on just this one channel. So for example, the notch control allows you to go from like a blackface Fender to a tweed Fender or even a vintage Marshall. And the contour control, one of the things is the lower volume you play, your bass drops off. It's called the Fletcher-Munson curve. So what we did was we have the ability to actually build the bottom back up even at low level. Wow. So, you know, which is a really cool feature. It's kind of exclusive to Rivera. That's the contour control here. So anyway, we've got on the lead channels, we have what's called a scoop. And so it turns out that there's a variety of vintage Marshall tones. One of the ones, through JCM 800s and all these other ones, has a different mid-range notch. So what we did was we actually have a scoop control here that you can change it from like the modern Marshall to the vintage Marshall, like plexis and so on that switch. So all the controls here are touch controls. They're push, and that's logic, computer logic. It's got a chip in it, is just for not the tone circuits, but it's all tubed throughout the tone circuits, but just for the logic and be able to be MIDI controlled. So this foot pedal here, the Headmaster, has some interesting features. It has tip ring sleeve relays, SPDTs, that you can actually switch external effects from this here, as well as an amp. For instance, let's say you had one of the Fender amps that has a foot switch, or a Marshall amp that has a phone jack for the foot switch. You can plug it into here and control that amp from this pedal as part of the programming for it. It has MIDI output, so you can use it in MIDI effects racks and control the effects from this foot pedal, which is a pretty advanced feature. It also has an auxiliary 12-volt output, which allows you to put lights or something else in a pedal board. We deal with so many pedal board makers, they said, you know, this is like a godsend to have, that they don't need an AC power supply, that it's actually in this pedal. So this is all a part of it, and once you get used to how to program these things, it works pretty good. But today we're going to set up just a simple program of going through the different channels and the different sounds.
So you need a pilot and a co-pilot and
I
all
think
this
so.
stuff. I don't know if you can get much more stuff in one amp, but it's really cool.
It is great.
So Michael's going to kind of
Yeah.
play it, and you can kind of hear what this stuff does, and Paul's going to explain it
Yes.
like Ricky Ricardo.
So start off clean.
We're going to start off clean. We're in channel 1 right now. So sweet.
So sweet. I'm
Very
warm.
warm.
We can add that contour control a little bit here. Just pull that out. That bottom end on it just fattens it up.
And this amp's got 12, so it's 2 12 amp.
Yes,
Look at that bottom end.
that's right.
Amazing low end.
Here, that's it.
And it doesn't break
And
up.
it doesn't break out.
Yep.
Yeah. Here, so we'll put in the contour control here. There's a couple of instruments, in my opinion, that are the most difficult to make sound amazing. Stratocasters, because of the unusual tone of the guitar, and Gibson L5s. Because what happens with the pickups on an L5, if you do a discordant chord, which may sound great musically, but most amps can't handle the dissonance between the different notes.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we do on an amp like this, that you're able to do that.
Dial it in.
And dial it in.
Very cool.
And I think he likes the reverb.
I love
Yeah,
the
reverb's
reverb. It's a
killing.
long
Yeah.
reverb. If you notice, so if I'll just very long and lush, which I personally like. I use a lot of that kind of on guitar of the day. But if you're just kind of sustaining, sweet.
For you folks that are old enough to remember EMT reverbs in studios,
Yeah.
the one with the joysticks, remember that reverb that you would
So
hear on
cool.
that was just like on so many legendary albums, and that's kind of what I think this thing sounds like.
Yeah, I love it.
The reverb.
Great reverb.
Yeah.
So let's hear some of the other stuff that I
Okay,
you
so
know,
now we're going to go to the next sound, which is now channel 2. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then channel 3. button number 4, so now it's dry. This one is channel 3, should be channel 3 with boost.
Right there.
Back to the clean, and it
Wow.
has, like we said before, it has dual reverbs. So you have a reverb for the first channels, and then you have a separate reverb for the channel 2 and channel 3.
You can pretty much get whatever you need, you know, whether you're recording, whether you're in a small room, a big room, a live
Big
room,
room,
a dead
exactly.
room, whatever.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, it's a
precisely.
one-stop shop right here with this one, and you can go from heavy rock to, like as you heard, clean George Benson type stuff.
Yep.
Wow.
So this is the Hallelujah package. This is like got everything you could possibly want, need.
I like that, the Hallelujah package.
It's got it all there.
Plagiarism
And this
here.
amp, it's a one of a kind, where eventually there'll be maybe more made because they sound so good. I have a feeling they will. But this is, you know, a step beyond, you know, the small ones that we've had that are really great, and they're really small and they're compact, and they
Yes.
put out a huge amount of sound. But this has got every possible
Now,
variance.
it
and
also
variety.
has something very special in here. It has German EL34 output tubes, which of course haven't been made in 40 years, but we have our private stock, and so this amp has it.
Wow.
Well,
Which, I mean, a pair of those on eBay goes for about $1,000, just a pair of them, so. Here
and
go.
you can bid on this, and all the money goes to the homeless, to the Midnight Mission. And this is courtesy of Paul and my buddy Ken Bloom, who's one of the all-time great guys in Hawaii.
Absolutely.
Just so
Ken.
generous.
Solar
and
King.
one of the really cool guys. He's Solar King in Hawaii, but courtesy of these guys, and it doesn't get any better. I think this is about as cool as it gets, and I'm proud to be able to do this, and same with Paul and Mike. So
Yes.
we wanted to demo it, give you an idea, and there's probably so many other things that you could do with this amp,
Absolutely.
but unless you want to camp out overnight and get in bed
Yes.
and get under the covers and watch, this is like the brief demo, just telling you about what this amp
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Awesome.
Very
Thank
good.
you,
So, and
Paul.
what are we calling
Thank you.
this amp?
This is called a Knucklehead Reverb combo, and it's a special 50-watt model. We've never built a 50-watt version of the Knucklehead Reverb ever, and we haven't built a combo like this, so it's a one-off.
This is the prototype, the first one, and you can bid on it at the Midnight Mission show at the Alex Theater. Again,
Correct.
Richie Sambora, Joe
Right.
Massa, Jason Sine with JMO MD, Tom Morello, Tim Allen, the Abrams Family Band. I mean, and there's going to be more. So thank you guys for supporting the Midnight Mission. Whoever buys this is doing a great thing for the homeless, and they're going to buy one hell of an amp.
This is one
Yeah.
hell of an amp. Yeah, you bet.
But this
Inside-
is, I
inside
name it the
joke.
Hallelujah package. It's everything. It's everything you could possibly put. Could you put any more knobs on that thing?
We tried.
There you go. Please bid on this thing. Let's raise a lot of money for the Midnight Mission. You get the prototype and you help the homeless. Thank you guys for watching.
Very good.
Take care.